Welcome to Essex County College's Community Education Forum. I'm your host, Alfred Bundy. Our special guest today, formerly, was the chair of the business division here at the college for many years and also served as dean of the business school and liberal arts department. We are glad that after 11 years, the Essex County Board of Trustees in late July decided to make him our interim president. Please welcome our very special guest, the interim president of Essex County College. Welcome, Dr. Augustine Boakye.
Thank you, Mr. Bundy.
I want to thank you. Tell us a little bit about your background and a little bit about your education and how you got here to Essex County College.
Mr. Bundy, I was born and raised in Ghana, West Africa. I studied in Ghana, had my bachelor's there and some graduate level program. Then I moved to London in the UK and I did master's in education, specializing in computer information system. Then I moved to Scotland in the UK to do my PhD in economics. And I relocated into the US and I work from Essex County College over 11 years now.
Great, and you and I have talked a little bit about Ghana. I told you I got my bracelet from Accra, and your hometown in Ghana was
Kumasi.
Kumasi, they call that the yes. City of Gold.
Yes.
Oh.
You're right.
Wow. In your short time that you've been here, I don't know if you've gotten it all together, but what's your vision for the college under your leadership?
I want to emphasize that the college is an access to the community, and therefore my goal is to make sure that we provide quality and affordable education to the student. I'm interested in expanding the programs and ensuring that new programs are added that will put people back to work and make money and make life.
Make life good. Tell us what you find rewarding about working with students at the higher education level.
I want to say that I've seen a lot of lives changing here in the college. As a faculty, as a mentor, as an administrator, I've worked with hundreds of students, and it's more rewarding for them to come back and say thank you. I want to see them grow.
What are some of the top academic programs here that we should be aware of? What are some of the programs that you
Obviously, the allied health is leading the nursing program, the PTA program, the radiology program. However, recently, the supply chain management and the logistics is one of the key areas that is booming across the nation, and Essex is one of the first two-year schools to start associate degree in supply chain management.
Wow. Now, also, the college for many, many years has been involved in workforce development and workforce development training. Why is workforce development so important right now?
One of the things I want to share with you is that not everybody can stay in the college for 4 years. And therefore, for the college to meet different needs, it's very important to provide short-term programs and certificates such as patient care, CNA, help desk certification, or any other entry-level program that will get them back to work is very important and crucial to the institution.
Because these programs, you know, they can get a certificate and be back to work in a short period of time.
You're right.
Excellent. Also, I know the college has dual enrollment programs and work with some of high schools, the local high schools. Actually, I think last year, 4 or 5 students from high school graduated with a degree. How is that? Tell us about the high school relationship.
Mr. Bundy, by illustration, I want to say that the college is serving as a bridge between the high schools and the 4-year institutions. And therefore, we have taken upon ourselves to make sure we introduce our programs at the high school level where the students will be exposed to most of the degree-seeking programs that we have and prepare them there before they come to the college. So my goal is to continue to partner with the existing high schools and even the new ones to make sure that we strengthen the relationship to help the students.
And some of them actually get college credits.
Yes,
while
yes.
they're in high school.
You're right.
Fantastic, fantastic.
You're right.
There's been young people and all different backgrounds, actually marching and protesting all over the country, dealing with inequality and concerned about racial justice and social justice. What's Essex County College doing in this area of social justice?
Mr. Bundy, there is nothing more important than respect for life. And what people are doing across the country is illustration of how they respect one another and how we want to maintain respect for one another. And Essex County College has taken a bold step, establishing a Social Justice Council. And this council is working very hard, researching and coming out with multiple measures we can use to support our institution and the community.
Fantastic. Share with us maybe one new initiative. We don't have a lot of time that's been started since you took over. Tell us about one thing. I know you may have done many. Give us one example.
One of the newest things that the college has seen is the opening of the Welcome Center. This is a one-stop center where students could stop, and within a very short time, multiple services can be provided. Mr. Bundy, I just want to state that I'm proud of the people that I've been working with, especially the Board of Trustees, the faculty, the staff, and the students. The high level of cooperation everybody has provided is amazing.
Fantastic. Well, I want to say this. We're out of time, but it's been a delight just to talk to you and hear a little bit about all the exciting things you have going on at Essex County College. But before we go, I want you to give me one word that best describes Augustine Boakye.
Optimistic.
All right, we'll take it. Optimistic. I want to thank you, Dr. Boakye, for joining us on this Community Education Forum. Don't you go anywhere. We got more of the Community Education Forum coming up. Stay with us.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, I am Diane Watson, a social science major at Essex County College. For fast, accurate information on registering for classes at Essex County College, walk up today to our Fast Track Welcome Center, conveniently located on the second floor by the main college entrance. You will be met with one of our courteous staff members ready to answer any questions on registering and enrolling at Essex County College. The Welcome Center is open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday to Friday. You can also call the Welcome Center at 973-877-4477 and speak to one of our representatives. In this COVID-19 pandemic, Essex County College follows all CDC health and safety guidelines. So, wear a mask when you come on campus. Remember, at Essex County College, it's always students first.
The college years are when young adults really start to think about their role in the community and the importance of civic engagement. We want students to not only be aware of the social justice issues that impact them, but to learn that they can be a positive voice and make a difference in their community. The best way that we can do that is to lead by example. And that is why the Social Justice Council seeks to advocate for and help elevate members of the community who have been marginalized by social injustices. Social justice is the best way that we can honor and carry out the mission of Essex County College. It is the ultimate expression of the college's values, including racial justice, economic justice, and empowerment through education. One of our goals is to level the playing field for students from all walks of life and to lift up those who have been affected most by the systemic inequities built into our society. In the end, we want all of our students to feel as though they are valued, worthy of respect, and have unlimited potential to be successful.
Welcome back to Essex County College's Community Education Forum. I'm your host, Alfred Bundy. Our special guest serves as Associate Counsel for the New Jersey Institute of Social Justice here in Newark, New Jersey. He earned both an undergraduate and law degrees at the University of South Carolina. While as a student, he served as the university's president of the Association of African American Students. Please welcome Attorney Aaron Greene. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
If you please share with our audience about the Social Justice Institute here for New Jersey, because I know y'all just do a lot and people just need to know more about the Institute.
Yeah, a lot of cutting edge work. New Jersey Institute of Social Justice is based here, Newark, New Jersey. Some of the most fiercest advocates I know I'm able to work with on an everyday basis. We have 3 pillars: economic justice, criminal justice reform, and we also have a democracy and justice team that I'm a part of. We're doing a lot of work to not only expose but repair the cracks in the foundation that have been the result of structural racism 400 plus years. So we're pushing for reparations, we're pushing for full restoration of voting rights for people that have criminal convictions. We were able to get that passed and signed in March 2020 to restore the right to vote to 83,000 people on parole and probation. Wow. And we're pushing for full restoration that includes the 19,000 that are currently incarcerated, 62%.
Now we saw some cases where people got out and they could have a chance to vote, but at the same time they also raised the issue in some places like Florida where they didn't pay the fines, so they still had part of their sentence to be served. Have you looked at that issue here in New Jersey?
Yeah, so in New Jersey, it's once the law is signed, everybody has the right to vote. There's no restitution that has to be paid. There's no carve-outs for crimes. If you're on parole and probation, you have the right to vote in New Jersey.
For just a little bit, let's talk about the environmental issues that are going on along with the social economic inequities, because I know there's such a wealth gap here in New Jersey. I mean, I understand for like blacks, it may be like 6,000, 7,000 annual income. And for the average white family, it may be as high as 300,000 on the average. Talk to us about these inequities.
Yeah, so in New Jersey, white family median household income is $352,000. That's the net worth, compared to a black family, $6,100. And we look at that element, we see the gross disparity. And furthermore, we look at our criminal justice system, where a black person is 12 times more likely than a white person to be incarcerated. A child in New Jersey, a black child, is 21 times more likely than a white child to be incarcerated. We spend over $300,000 per child to incarcerate them. So as we look at around the country, but specifically in New Jersey, we look at the history of slavery. There was a period of time around 1830 where nearly 66% of those enslaved in the North were enslaved in New Jersey. And we look at now the current disparities. That relates back to the foundation of this country, and it goes back to exposing that and how are we going to repair that.
I know that if we look at the criminal justice system from the parole, the probation, and actually in prison, that there's more African Americans tied up in that system than during the days of slavery, which is just incredible.
Yeah, we have the highest, America has the highest incarceration rate in the world. Nearly 25% of those incarcerated around the world are in America, and 62% of the prison population in New Jersey is black.
Much discussion for the last couple of years in Newark about an environmental issue. The water. We saw this issue in Flint, Michigan first. We've seen it in other towns, and I know the issue in Flint and Newark are not quite the same. Where are we at with that issue, and how serious a concern has that been to you?
Yeah, so at the Institute, we have not necessarily focused on that issue, but I know there's been a lot of progress made to restore, but specifically on the social issues that I talked about from the state level. I just want to focus in on Newark in itself, where the home ownership rate is 23%, very low. The average home value is $230,000. Estimates show that 34% of Newark households have a net worth of $0. Over 70% of Newark residents are renting. And we go down the road to Millbourne and we look at that population, which is majority white. The home ownership rate is over 80%. The home value is over $1 million. So we look at that goes back to redlining, right? And the element of home ownership comparing to wealth accumulation.
And that's a concern that we're starting to raise more about with banks, and maybe, you talked about reparations. Maybe, that needs to be part of the equation of what's on the list.
And it's something we're
because
pushing.
credit is a huge problem for Black families. One of the concerns that was in the news all the time after the Parkland shooting at the school, shootings at places like Virginia Tech and even Las Vegas, was concern about guns or gun reform. Where are we at is that relating to a social justice issue, and how significant is that in what we see going on today?
Yeah, so when we look at the issue of gun reform, it's a issue that it touches and concerns every part of this nation, but more importantly, it touches every age group, right? We see the youth, elderly impacted, but more importantly, we're looking at how do we invest more into our community. When we look at we're pushing for demilitarization of policing, or being on with the consent decree in Newark. Us, the New Jersey Institute for Social Justice, we worked to help with that. That's been in place since 2016, and there has been a lot of progress made because the community's voice has been implemented in that.
I know there was also some concern about a civilian review board that seemed like didn't go well, I guess, with our Supreme Court in New Jersey. But I think, would a fight continue, or is that it?
Well,
about civilian review boards.
Well, I think the fight continues. I think that the community should have a say in the things that they want in for when it comes to policing and other issues.
How can a place like Essex County College, where we have thousands of students here enrolled, how can these students, and why is it important that even today's college students are involved with social justice?
Well,
concerns?
looking historically, all right, every major movement we've had, young people have been played a pivotal role in that, and have led to amazing changes that we've seen in this country. And what we saw the past few months, we saw young people, millions taken to the streets, leading changes. And I would just give a charge for a few things. We created a document, 10 things to do after you say Black Lives Matter. There's a reparations task force bill that's currently in the state legislature that can be pushed, advocated for by our youth. Also, when it comes to city councils and communities, how can you be more involved to make sure that community resources are going to those that are most vulnerable, or those that are in need?
Well, I'm a little older than you, but I have to be honest, I am absolutely, it's just lifted to see the number of professional athletes, everything from Major League Baseball, the National Hockey League, the NBA, tennis players, even race cars drivers, getting involved in this Black Lives Matter movement. Is that a real kind of sign of hope based on the history of this country?
Yeah, I think it is a sign of hope. I think that people realize that we are not where we need to be. And we see people all across this country taking to using whatever instrument they have to raise their voices. So it's really inspiring to see the athletes and those that have influence in our community lifting their voices. And lastly, we had 20 million people after the death of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, take to the streets and advocate. Some would say the largest demonstrations we've ever seen in this country.
Maybe one of the largest in the world.
Yeah.
Aaron, we are out of time, but I can't thank you enough for joining us. We've been talking with Aaron Greene from the New Jersey Institute for Social Justice. Please don't you go anywhere. We're going to talk a lot more about social justice and what's going on here at Essex County College. Stay with us.
Social justice covers many areas, but at the heart of it is treating people the way you want to be treated. Respecting and recognizing other people's humanity the way you would recognize your humanity and your family's humanity. And if we all did that, there would be no need for social justice. Basically, in this country, it appears that primarily immigrants, people of color, are not considered to have the same value as everybody else. And so they have to fight and protest in order to demonstrate to the general public that they have humanity too. An example, since I'm a Black person in America, is only fitting that I raise that point. And as an ancestor, as a descendant of people who were considered property when they came here, an attitude that's still pervasive in a lot of decisions that are made in the United States, it's caused people to seek and request and have their humanity recognized. And if we do that, there'll be no need for social justice. Just to recognize other people's humanity and the decision making that one is engaged in. And primarily, if we all thought about it from the moment we wake in the morning until we go to sleep, if we just respect each other and recognize the humanity, there would be no need for social justice.
Let me take this opportunity to share with you how the Social Justice Council has been brought together by the president of the college to really look at how we focus on the dignity and the humanity of the students and our larger community. We want to ensure that within the body of the operations of the college, that everything that we do re-establishes our commitment to people's dignity, to their basic humanity, and that we uplift them. And that the ways in which we do that in terms of our students is that how we interact with them on a daily basis. We want to make sure that when we're engaging with the students, when we're talking with them about whether it's from financial aid to how they're being advised by their professors, that any of their interactions is in a positive, uplifting format. And so social justice basically provides the basis for that, so that we are thinking about them and their humanity as we're interacting with them. That we're thinking about maybe some of the troubles that they've gone through to even get to that point. And we want to uplift them through the troubles that they've experienced and make sure that we do the same thing with each other. That is, as faculty, as staff people, as administrators, we want to recognize the basic humanity of ourselves, and we want to institutionalize that as the council within the fabric of the college. And by doing so, then Essex County College becomes even a greater servant institution to the community.
Welcome back to Essex County College's Community Education Forum. I'm your host, Alfred Bundy. Our next special guest has been at part of Essex County College for almost 10 years. He told me to say 9 to be exact. He is a professor of sociology in the Division of Social Sciences. He's also the curator of the college's popular social justice film series and serves as host of BlackPantherOnline.com. Please welcome Dr. Charles Pinderhughes. Thank you for joining us today.
Glad to be here.
Great. Just share with us some of your work and history as a professor here at Essex County College.
Well, I came in 2011 to teach sociology, and I cover both the intro, social stratification, sociology of the family, urban sociology, and racial and ethnic minorities. I teach all of those in the course.
Now, we talk about social stratification, and that's a big word. That sounds very academic.
Well,
what is that in a layman's term?
How is society broken down into the different classes that are, and looking at examining social inequality, what the 1% has versus the 99%, et cetera.
Yeah, I think some people call that the ruling class. Now, you've been involved in the black community and as a labor activist all the way back into the 1960s. How do you view the current protest over racial inequalities that's sweeping this nation and we see in our streets today?
I think it's a good breath of fresh air. It's the biggest upsurge since the mass phase of the civil rights movement in the 1960s. So it's good news, but it's unfortunately this is a very long, protracted struggle, and the younger folks will probably see another wave by the time they get to be my age.
Okay. But one thing, I think it is different because it's so multiracial, and we have so many different, suburban folks that have on the street Black Lives Matter. We see our sporting teams, professional sports all involved. I mean, are they real signs of progress and hope? I mean, I know they're symbolic, but don't you think that this is kind of a new plateau?
A new plateau is an okay description. The fact is that there's huge changes that need to be made that I don't think will get made under our current conception of what economics ought to be like. When you have a world that accepts the existence of haves and have-nots, then you automatically create extreme amount of friction. And then the question is, do we need racism to divide the people to keep order? And that's what we're seeing today. That's what we've seen throughout American history. And so I'll just stop myself before I continue.
Well, you're a real scientist in this area, and that's important that we have your perspective. I know Essex County College has a social justice committee and has some plans and some initiatives that they're going to be doing here. Tell us just some of what that looks like at Essex County College.
Well, we're going to be getting a social justice portal on the website to regularly display new content about the question of social justice, to continue to help the faculty and students of Essex County College keep social justice forefront in our minds, and try to figure new ways to work with social justice here in New Jersey and beyond.
Fantastic. And I understand already that you've been doing such interesting work that been called by a statewide affinity group to make a presentation about what's going here, so help maybe a few other community colleges to get involved in this very important movement. For such a long time, you've been doing the social justice film series. It's really been a big success on this campus, and it means a lot. Share with us how that you picked those films, what it's meant, and just a little bit about the impact.
Well, I started it. I was wanting to start it as a lunch group with some students, but then when the Black Panther film came, and I decided to try to show it to the whole school, and fortunately I decided on an all-day format, and it was so welcomed that I said, okay, let me build a social justice series around this. And so we showed it again, but we also have been doing other films. My main view is that we have to touch as many bases as possible. So yes, we try to touch the population of Essex County College, including the Latinos, where we are a Hispanic serving institution, including people of African descent, especially since we're a historically Black college. And we also make sure to have raise issues of gender in there as well.
Yeah, I can see how what you've been doing is so important for that dialogue, for that communication. We're kind of running out of time, but from your perspective in maybe 20 seconds, just share with us where you see things now and try to retrospect as far as dealing with racial inequalities compared to maybe where it was just 5 years ago.
Well, I think it's positive that a lot of the 1% felt that they had to compromise with the protests. I mean, it's significant that we have protests going on for 100 days at a time. So that is a new era of protest, but it's not necessarily a new era of policy yet. That's a long time coming. So stay tuned.
Yeah, we got to kind of change maybe what Congress looks like. Listen, we're out of time. And I really want to just thank you, Dr. Pinderhughes, for joining us. And you've been watching the Essex County College Community Education Forum. I'm your host, Alfred Bundy. For more information about Essex County College, please visit our website at essex.edu. And if you want to find out more about our community education forum shows, check us out on Facebook or YouTube. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.